the winner of this year's gospel song competition, reminding us to sing praises. We have much to give praise for. Among our many blessings, this week we celebrate 52 years of independence. Hi, I'm Theodore Henry, your guide for today's show. What's coming up? Culture Minister Lisa Hanna is in studio. She wraps up the independence celebrations and tells us about the distribution of Grand Gala tickets.
The tickets are out there. You can call the Ministry of Youth and Culture.
Plus, more from the entrance of this year's Gospel Song Finals. Stay with us. We have those features and much more inside the pages for you.
The National Water Commission (NWC) is now on a drive to rapidly fix leaks affecting the water distribution systems across the island. 2 leak hotlines have been established. Report leaks by calling 733-5655 and 733-5656. You may also send a text to 838-LEAK. That is 838-5325. Remember that a little effort will make a big difference. Be a leak detective. Conserve on water today.
Thanks for joining us for Issues and Answers. I'm Ian Boyne. It's the Emancipendence season, and we have with us the Minister of Youth and Culture, the Honorable Lisa Hanna. She'll be talking to us about festival activities, but more importantly, about the kinds of policy shifts and policy changes which have taken place. We thank you for your company. Minister, always good to be on set with you. Good to have you.
Thank you very much. First, I must correct you. It's not emancipendence. It's emancipation and independence. We've made a deliberate attempt to separate both of them.
Why? Give us a little bit.
Because emancipation is important in its own right, and we believe certainly in the celebration of our 100 years of the UNIA, but also in the 70 years of moving from Crown Colony, and also in the 180 years of emancipation. A lot of our young people don't understand that the reason why we have a holiday is because of the full freedom of our ancestors. We take it for granted, I think, in Jamaica now, that the long holiday weekend is to party, and we don't reflect on those things that have made us truly Jamaican and those struggles that we've gone through. So we have separated them. So we're celebrating emancipation, focusing on it, giving thanks for it in the same ways that our ancestors did, and paying more attention, and also separating it and making sure that people are aware that independence was very, very different to emancipation.
Though emancipation paved the way for independence.
Absolutely.
So there is that kind of connection.
Absolutely. And if you look at even when Cudjoe decided that he was going to sign the treaty with the British, there was a pseudo-independence even before full freedom. So there's so many discussions that we can have on it, and my dilemma as a minister is getting our young people to critically think about those things that make us who we are today. And so there are a number of policy changes that you've said that we've drilled down on and quietly and systematically working on changing the structure of how we redevelop our cultural mores, but also how we spawn culture, because we can't allow it to happen by accident. A lot of our young people are learning to play music by ear. They're very talented. So we're going into the rural communities and having training sessions and training even our duppy bands to play music with our young people. So there are a number of things that we have done, which I'll speak about when you ask
Tell
me.
us about some of these policy shifts, Minister.
Well, one of them is we've shifted the date of the Festival of the Arts in schools. We have now put it to the first term so that our teachers and students have time to prepare and they don't buck up on exams. Whereas before it was in the third term, what we've done is we've also worked with the NYS program so that we now pay performance art specialists coming out of Edna Manley, coming out of Excelsior, to go into parishes and help train the talent. Because what was happening is we were having a lot of people coming to festival, but the kind of repertoire and the kind of certain style and the quality that was coming, we needed them to raise their bar so that if you wanted to go overseas and work, or if you wanted to use it and even have it as a stepping stone for scholarships, you were able to do that. So we've now put expertise in the place to start working with these children over months. So that will start come September. That's one of the major policy changes we've made. Another one is we have developed, and we are developing, just in the same way we create our athletes through a system, we're now creating and moving to create musicians and persons who understand music. So even writing scores of music, we're also training for them to play in different genres. A lot of the young people who play at nine-nights, for instance, on these duppy bands, play by ear, and they play the bongo rhythm and they play the mento, but they don't really know the ska, the history of ska, the rock steady, etc. They hear it. So what we've been doing with Jareo is, over the last couple of weeks, going into the rural communities in particular, getting the young people, teaching them the history of Jamaican music, because we have developed, and I enjoy it too, a sound system culture, and because we want bands to play live music. So we've started in this for the first time, Live Music Tuesdays, which was now a policy, so to showcase these bands, because many people don't recognize that in Europe, for instance, ska is a big deal.
Absolutely.
There's 800 ska bands, not one of them are Jamaican. In Japan, there are 200, not one Jamaican. So we're saying to young people, look, we want to train you as a ministry. We want you to recognize that there's a livelihood. A lot of the young people want farm work cards, but look, there are avenues, and a lot of overseas person want bands, because we also deal with children as a ministry, and we recognize the importance of family, and that families who stay together have a better understanding of what is happening with their children. During the August 1 to 6 period, we've introduced a family day, and we have teamed up with JTB and through Experience Jamaica to have reductions on attractions. So the Bob Marley Museum is reduced. You have Puerto Seco Beach, Dunn's River, because we want families to get together on that day. And so those are the kinds of things that we've been working on. So there are long-term development policy changes we have made to spawn culture, to develop culture, because we are competing in an international global marketplace where there's so many other cultures that are influencing ours.
Yeah.
And we've just taken
We'll
certain
come back
decisions.
and touch on that, Minister. Exciting things happening in culture, in festival, and policy shifts taking place, which the Minister of Youth and Culture is telling us about. We're going to take a break, but we'll be right back.
Nutritious food, succulent dishes, superior workmanship, and excellent service. Jamaica is on the go. Let's grow what we eat and eat what we grow. Let's harness the indomitable spirit of our most valued resource, our people. Let's support our local businesses. After all, buying Jamaican means building Jamaica.
Original.
Welcome back, Minister of Youth and Culture. The Honorable Lisa Hannah is here with us, talking to us about festival, as well as about the policy changes taking place in our ministry. So, Minister, you are looking to impact the culture in a deep way, because you recognize, with the strong cultural penetration from North America, that unless we do some things systematically to retain our culture, all of that is going to be squelched.
It's not only that, it's bigger than that. It's deeper than that. And that's what we are working to not only understand, but also to bring solutions for persons to recognize that we too are impacting the world. And we're impacting the world in a way that is value to them. So for instance, when I speak about SCA celebrating 50 years this year, and big up to Sister Marcia Griffiths and Freddie McGregor and the Scatterlights who are celebrating 50 years, a lot of our young people see SCA, don't appreciate it, but the rest of the world does.
True.
And they're utilizing it. But unless we start to train our young people to accept the culture, because in a very strange way, what I've recognized is we are such a creative people and powerful that we create these things out of our own struggles. The songs that we create, etc. But we now have to move in a strategic way to help them to get on their feet in many respects. So those are what the policy changes are, and they are long-term. that we're looking for long-term development, and we want to achieve three things. One, we want to train and spawn from the ground up culture, the music, teaching of music appreciation, poetry, how to write music. Even with the National Library we're doing things, but also to even say to our persons who are writing books, print them in Spanish and Chinese. Our publishers, we're going out to them and saying these things because we have to compete in culture globally. So those are some of the things. The second thing we're doing is saying to our young people, there is a livelihood in culture. So we will train you leading up, and then the festival will be the showcase of the best of what Jamaica has to offer. And then the third thing that we're doing is what you're saying. It's giving people the appreciation so that they can make a choice and respect our independence, respect our patriotism, and say to themselves, when I'm asked, so what are you doing for the long weekend? What am I doing? I'm being independent and feeling good about being independent. What are you doing? The parties. So you have a choice with what to do. But even if you go to the parties or you're going to relax, this weekend is a pivotal role in who we are as Jamaicans. And in order to do all the other things that we have to do, the economic growth, the getting jobs and all these other things, they must realize that our independence and feeling good about who we are is novel. And in any special period that we go through, our cultural programs are the most crucial because people must recognize that our culture is why we are who we are as Jamaicans.
So let's talk. Tomorrow night, which is Monday, is the World Reggae Dance.
Yes.
That's a big thing on the calendar.
That's a big thing on the calendar. And of course, you know, we're coming out of the International Food Festival, which we've introduced, the Film Festival, which is another thing we've introduced, and the Heart of Ska Festival.
Yes.
So
Anti-Roche
Film Festival to showcase the films that have been done in Jamaica over time, and also new films that are coming on stream, which will probably be introduced next year, because there's also a budding film
industry
thing, but we need to get that going. The International World Reggae Dance, Japan has won it twice in a row. And we're hoping to take back that title.
To reclaim that,
and our theme this year is This is Jamaica, My Jamaica, really focusing on the things that make us supreme. And we're asking young persons to come out even to the Grand Gala, and wear your national colors with a tups of white for our children.
So how are the tickets going? How are they to be had for the...
The tickets are out there. You can call the Ministry of Youth and Culture. Typically we give also to the members of Parliament, to the councillors. We also give to the agencies to go out. And we've never really wanted to sell the tickets. So persons who also come to some of these events, they'll be given away free there, if you can answer some questions. So, and there are one or two outlets certainly at the JCD.
But you're expecting this to be another grand affair.
We are expecting it, and it will be a lot more theatrical because we, as you know, submitted the Blue and Jonker Mountains to become a World Heritage Site. And it has been accepted technically by UNESCO, so they're now coming down to do the research as to why it should be a World Heritage Site. So that will be a feature of the gala, looking at the Blue and Jonker Mountains. We also have a part devoted to Marcus Garvey because of the UNIA. And we have, we have Marcia Griffiths because of her 50 years in music. And so it really is showcasing, and that's what the gala should do. Showcasing what we are. And you'll have a little pizzazz because Jamaicans like the pizzazz, but we have to give people an appreciation of our history. And we have to give people an appreciation because the three things that we are celebrating is the 50 years of Ska this year as a part of festival. We're also celebrating the 70 years of moving from Crown Colony, where we now have our own constitution. And we're celebrating the 100 years of the UNIA formation that we gave to the world through Marcus Garvey.
And things have also been happening in the rural areas.
Absolutely. Things have been happening in the rural areas, at the parish levels. The St. Mary Regatta is a big issue. Out in Sligoville is Emancifest. Certainly Emancipation Jubilee at Seville. So there are things right across the island. But what I say to you, Ian, which is what we have to have a greater discussion and a more ideological discussion, is why is it that people feel that nothing is happening in culture? And that's not the case.
not the case.
But we are competing with all the parties for Emancipation Weekend
Yes.
and independent. We're competing with so many different things, and that messaging is bludgeoned into your mind. So unless you are someone that is patriotic, and unless you're someone that really enjoys the independence, you're not going to listen for it, and you're not going to hear it.
Minister of Youth and Culture, the Honorable Lisa Anna, is talking to us about independence, about emancipation, and about festival. And as she has reminded us, this is a festival weekend. In addition to the exciting parties and all of these things, remember what festival is about and do take in festival activity. Next week, I'll be back. Until then, Ian Bourne wishing you a pleasant day.
Let's celebrate Jamaica to the world. Fastest man in the world. First Jamaican woman to win gold in Olympic 100-meter sprint. An upcoming global superstar. Mouth-watering meals. And a vibrant set of people. We are Jamaicans. Let's get together and bring back the love.
The country has lost a founding father, former Governor General Sir Howard Cook. The man of humility with a fervent passion for his country, fittingly acquiring the name Cooksy. Next, we remember him.
Sir Howard is to be remembered also as a member of the United Church of Jamaica and the Cayman Islands, and the influential role he played in that arena.
The Sir Howard Cook Thursday Group was a name used to describe a group of persons who used to meet at King's House under the patronage of Sir Howard. Our former Governor General held the view that bringing people together from different backgrounds, whether it be religious, political, cultural, or social, could only be a progressive stimulus to further dialogue on critical issues.
He was a Christian man who hardly ever spoke publicly without acknowledging the mercies of God.
One of his favorite Bible verses was Micah 6:8, which says, "What doth the Lord require of thee, but to do justly, love mercy, and walk humbly with your God."
Measles, mumps, and rubella are potentially dangerous childhood diseases. Parents, ensure your children get the MMR vaccine to protect them. The first shot should be given when children are between 12 and 15 months old, and another before they start school. Women of childbearing age should also ensure they get the MMR vaccine, as they could transmit dangerous conditions to their children if infected while pregnant. To know more, visit your nearest clinic or health center or contact the Ministry of Health.
As promised, clips from the recent Gospel Song Finals. Sit back, relax, and sing praises.
Randy Williams, your beliefs here blessed and highly favored tonight. All of the blessed and highly favored people wave your hands on them, man. Whoa, yeah. Whoa. Say, I am blessed and highly favored. Jesus keep me steady when them think they love me way, but say I'm blessed and highly favored. Steadfast and focused, I'm a Christian soldier. I am blessed and highly favored. Yes, and Jesus keep me steady when them think they love me way, but say I'm blessed and highly favored. Steadfast and focused. You me know, hey, God bless me with the power to resist the enemy. Bless me with the courage and the strength, the blood, the remedy. Bless me with a talent when me use and praise His holy name. So right I know me could never be the same. Hey, when me get the blessing, my sins be readdressing. When them think me empty, yes, my cup be overflowing. I am like a seed that is planted, now I'm growing. I know where I am going, yeah. He bless me, so make me feel so sweet. He bless me, so when me not no food for eat. He bless me, from my head to my feet. I am my one friend me have to keep. Yo, he bless me, and make me feel where the honor man. He bless me, so when me not no food for eat. He bless me, from my head to my feet. I am my one. Say I am blessed in the highly favored. You know, sing it. And Jesus keep me steady when they think they might be weak, but say I'm a prayer warrior for the Lord. I'll be trampling the enemy by sending up prayer. Under my feet they shall be defeated, because the blood of Jesus runs from me. Therefore he gives me the authority to trample and eliminate the enemy. So me I tell you to come now. On Calvary's cross, Jesus signed me contract. He put me in a cool place. Me know a vitesse me water me a go feel. He put me in a cool shady pan and green vest and me a go feel. He put me in a cool place. Vintage me water me a go feel. Listen, me telling you the truth. When me was in sin, the devil did make me loot. Me used to tell lie because me never love the truth. I wear sin for my face and I go on like me cute. That time me never know the devil have me as recruit. When now me living in style. Might not have the world, but me always have a smile. Living righteously and dark the truth all the while. King of kings is my father and I'm here in church. All Christian people, from all denomination, rise out of slumber. Pick up your Bible. Give the devil a walk. Come fight for King Jesus. All Christian people, from all denomination, rise out of slumber. Pick up your Bible. Give the devil a walk. Come fight for King Jesus. This is the world in a crisis. No time for nigger rights. But get back to the war, holy war. Come fight for King Jesus. All Christian people, from all denomination, rise out of slumber. Pick up your Bible. Give the devil a walk. Come fight for King Jesus. This is the world in a crisis. No time for nigger rights. But get back to the war, holy war. Come fight for King Jesus. Step up. Run it with you. Let us know my soldiers. Let us know my good God. Let us know my soldiers.
Jamaica's national motto, "Out of many, one people," is based on the population's multiracial roots. The motto is represented on the coat of arms, which is also known as the Arms of Jamaica. It shows a male and female of the Taino tribe standing on either side of a shield, which has a red cross with 5 golden pineapples. The crest has a Jamaican crocodile mounted on the royal helmet of the British monarchy and mantling. Jamaica's coat of arms was granted to the country by the British in 1661 under royal warrant. It was designed by William Sancroft, then Archbishop of Canterbury. The original motto in Latin translates to "The two Indians will serve as one," or "Both Indies will serve together." It was later replaced with the English motto, "Out of many, one people." This is a tribute to the unity of the different cultural minorities that make up Jamaica.
To help us take a closer look at the Jamaican coat of arms is logistics and protocol consultant Mmr Needham. How are you?
Good to see you.
Good to see you again. The Jamaican coat of arms is considered a legacy from the British. What's the legacy?
Well, the British, the English in particular, were the first, or among the very first, to design arms, or what's colloquially but not strictly speaking correctly called coat of arms. And they designed very good ones. And this is a particularly good one. It's reflective of a lot of aspects of Jamaica. And it has great antiquity. It's now, as a result of our keeping it, one of the oldest national arms in the world.
That's quite a legacy. We still have a male and female Arawak on either side of the shield. They've been long gone. So why is this so?
Well, they were the original human inhabitants. It's not their fault that they were decimated largely by the Spaniards and the few that were left to some extent by the English. But, you know, a lot of them escaped to the mountains, they joined the Maroons and so on, and lots of Jamaicans still have some little tiny strain of Taino or Arawak blood in them. Why has it got to change, you know, every time there's a population change? If we say that it should represent Afro-Jamaicans more, well, what about when the Indians started coming and when the Chinese started coming, and they too, you know, there's a limit to how you can keep adjusting things.
Jamaica
It's tradition.
Jamaica has a number of fruits and animals that are indigenous to us. Why the pineapple and why the crocodile?
Well, a crocodile is an indigenous creature for Jamaica, and at the time of the design of the arms, there was a lot more swampland and so on than there is now. There were a lot more crocodiles, and they thought they were alligators. In fact, there used to be an old joke that the only alligator in Jamaica is the one on the arms. And so, you know, that was legitimate. And usually arms have fairly aggressive crests, such as a lion or a tiger or a bear or something like that. So, you know, you would want to use an alligator rather than some rather domestic-looking little thing.
Pineapple. Why
Pineapple. The pineapple, yeah, that's a bit harder for me to justify. It wasn't indigenous. It was brought to Jamaica from the Pacific area by Captain Cook. I think probably just because they look regal as a fruit. You know, it has a crown-like look to it. It is the most central factor, apart from the Cross of St. George, on the coat of arms, which is the bit right in the center of the arms.
Regal and suitable.
Regal and suitable,
Yes.
absolutely.
Today, the Jamaican coat of arms appears on all our banknotes and coins, as well as on national documents. In many respects, it is used as the final seal of government approval.
Think on this. The great danger for family life, in the midst of any society whose idols are pleasure, comfort, and independence, lies in the fact that people close their hearts and become selfish. This quote from Pope John Paul II reminds us to be the change we want to see in the world. This is where we close the pages on today's magazine, but the pages continue to turn on our social network sites. Click on jis.gov.jm for more information on the Independence Period celebrations. The World Reggae Dance Champs is on tomorrow. Follow us on Twitter at JIS News for more details on the issues explored on today's show. We value your feedback, so drop us a line at jamaicamagazine@jis.gov.jm. On behalf of the team here at the JIS, I'm Theodore Henry. Have a wonderful day.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.